Hi, I'm Jim Sullivan from Audiocarve Car Audio, and we're hoping to do this DVD on our website so you can see what a remote car starter is, how it works, how it's installed. You get to see what's going on with the security of a vehicle, how complex today's vehicles are, and to justify the cost of a remote car starter. We're actually going to go and we're going to put a remote car starter in this 2010 F-150, show you how that's done, how we connect it, and why it's so complicated. Alright, so let's get started with the product itself. The products that we use here at Audiocarve are manufactured in Montreal. They're built, tested, and designed up there. Having Montreal so close by, an hour and a half away, means that these companies actually test them in our environment. So we're going to open the box, we're going to see what's involved in a remote car starter. Basically what we're going to have is, of course, some directions. Basically, the unit itself. This is a remote car starter. Okay? It's a small unit, it's electronic. It basically controls the vehicle's ignition system, the vehicle's lights, brakes. All of that stuff is tied into it. And I'm going to show you the wiring that's involved in this. We'll have a main wiring harness. We'll have a couple of other wiring harnesses. And of course we'll have the antenna. So let's take a look at the main wiring harness. The main wiring harness consists of the power wires, the ignition wires. All these are connected into the vehicle's electrical system, generally at the key switch. Then we'll have, of course, the antenna, which mounts on the windshield of the vehicle. We'll have another wiring harness, a little bit smaller wires and more wires. These wires are actually tied into the vehicle's brake system, the parking light system, the tachometer system of the vehicle, and miscellaneous other connections where we have to get at the computer or at a door or at a switch, whatever the manufacturer of the vehicle. Every car is a little bit different. And then of course we'll have the main harness, we'll have a switch which will allow it to disable it. We hide these out of the way so nobody's going to shut them off accidentally. Usually we'll put these close to the fuse box for the customers. And then of course we'll have the power lock harness if you choose a remote car starter with power locks. There's three different models to choose from. This is our most basic because most of the new vehicles are actually coming with the locks and everything built onto the key. So a simple one button, push it, starts, stops, 1,500 feet of range, small, it's our best seller. If you have a vehicle and you'd like to add power locks onto it so you don't have to carry two transmitters on your keychain, we have this one available, again 1,500 feet, but it adds the lock and unlock functions. And they're very color coded, so red means lock, green means unlock, white is your remote car starter, and we can actually add the trunk or other features on with this one. And then we go to our top of the line unit, which includes everything that's on this one, except it's a two-way remote car starter. It doubles the range, almost up to 2,500 feet, and basically this will allow you to start your car and it actually tells you your car is running. So you don't need to see it. You can be in a restaurant, grocery store, up to 2,500 feet away and know that your car is running. So this is a very higher end unit. These three models fit the bill for just about every kind of remote car starter. So let's take a look at security. And this is kind of why we did this DVD. Most cars have a security system. Now, it's a security system that's kind of hidden away. Most of the new vehicles now, from 2000 and up, and even a little bit earlier, have keys with computer chips in them. Okay? Now, these keys are the only vehicle keys that will start your car. Okay? You get 2 to 3 keys when you purchase a new vehicle. In some used vehicles, if you only have one, it kind of gets a little tricky. So there is a computer chip inside these keys. So basically, you got to know that when we do a remote car starter, you may have security in your keys. That adds to the cost. And we have to use another unit in combination with the remote car starter to bypass and get around that security in the key to allow your vehicle to start remote car start without having a key in the ignition, which is the point of having a remote car starter. This adds to the cost. This is why a remote car starter generally typically was $200 and now they're approaching $260, $270. It's because of this type of security. Most of the newer cars have it. It's important to remember that when you bring your vehicle in for a remote car starter, you've got to give us all the keys, okay? If you don't have key chip security, you may have another type of security in your vehicle, and that's a vehicle alarm system. When you're starting your car without a key, such as the case with a remote car starter, the vehicle thinks somebody's trying to steal it. Horn will go off, the vehicle won't start. So we have to use a piece, again, in addition to the remote car starter, specific to each vehicle. And this will allow it to disarm, arm the car, after it's started and allow us to install a remote car starter. So again, that typical $199 remote car starter, kind of a thing of the past now. Most of these newer cars have this type of security into it. If it's 2000 and up, it's going to have some type of security system. If it's an older vehicle, it doesn't have security, it's generally going to be a lower cost, but most of the newer cars are going to have it. And our 2010 vehicle here today has that type of system, so we'll be able to see it, see how that's installed, and how it's bypassed correctly. Alright, so we're inside our 2010 F-150 Harley-Davidson Edition pickup. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to get into the vehicle's wiring system, because that's where we're going to make most of our connections for the remote car starter. Right. Okay, so we've made all the connections at the vehicle's ignition switch, duplicated the factory wiring right down to our remote car starter. This is typically one harness of the 3 or 4 that we'll actually put into the vehicle. So we're done with this number 1 connection, and now we'll just go ahead and we'll actually reattach this back up to the ignition switch of the vehicle. You don't have to get all this, Barry, but I'm going to plug it back in. That way we know. Alright, so we've got our wire connected to our ignition switch, which duplicates our key, and we'll go ahead and take our remote car starter. We'll go ahead and plug that harness in. And we've got our first wires connected. Now we're going to have to go ahead and we're going to have to connect power, and we're going to have to ground the unit, and then we'll get into the vehicle's lighting system, so you'll know when the vehicle started, the parking lights come on. We'll actually get into the brake system, and then we'll be doing our under hood connections, which we'll be showing you the under hood connections. So, go. Alright, so we've made our important connection underneath the hood of the vehicle using the same exact style factory loom as the factory uses. Here's a factory wire, here's our wire. We give it a little bit of slack, we go right to our source where we're going to get the tachometer setting, and we'll make that connection nice and neat, just like the factory wiring. So that's kind of shows you with the work that we do underneath the hood of the vehicle to connect into the electrical system. So we're pretty much wrapped up underneath the hood here, and now we're going to go over and we're going to take a look at the key column when I connect those keys. Alright, so we get a really good shot of the key system and how we're going to override the key system. Again, we discussed that these keys have chips in them, and actually this right here picks up the key signal, transmits it down to the car's computer, and allows it to start. So what we need to do is bypass that. And how we're doing it here at Audiocarve is we're actually using a pickup ring. It's just a series of wires wrapped around that actually duplicates the key's resistance and sends it up to the vehicle. We attach this really well around the key system, and we run this wire right down. Alright, so we've seen the products, we've seen some of the tools that we're going to need to install the remote car starter. We've done the vehicle installation, you've seen how the wires are connected. Now the most important thing again, is why we did this video, is just to show you what it takes to put in a remote car starter, how long it takes to put in a remote car starter, generally 2 to 3 hours. The product itself, how important that is, lifetime warranty on the product, mostly the installation, and the knowledge put in the installation. Again, Audiocarve's done over 3,500 remote car starters, full lifetime warranty on them. They are a little expensive. Basically, most of our new models here in 2010 are approaching the $270 range installed. The justification of that is a good quality product, really good install, the know-how and how it's done, and we treat your vehicle with the care that it deserves. We also connect the wires in the proper way, and we're going to take care of you after the sale. So thanks for watching our video at Audiocarve. If you have any questions, you can contact us, and thanks again for watching.